Hello YouTube, welcome back to my video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can send an HTTP GET request and HTTP POST request using JavaScript and read the JSON response. Okay. So I'll be showing how you can send the HTTP request from the JavaScript function. So on the page load itself, we can send the HTTP request with the default parameters and read the JSON response. And I'll be showing how you can pass the parameters from a form and send the HTTP request and read the response from the server and pass that JSON response. Okay. So first we are going to check how to pass HTTP GET request using JavaScript. Okay, so we'll be checking with a real-time example. So I have found a website which is having a web service. So if we send a GET request with the current IP address, it will return a JSON response with all the information of IP address, like the coordinates of the user and coordinates of the IP address, the location, the city name, everything. Okay, so the website I found is ipinfodb.com, which is a free website. All you have to do is just sign up in this one. I have already signed up. It's a normal process. I'm just logging in my account here. So once you log in here, you will get an API key here. Okay, this is the API key, and you can see here there is an option here, IP location API. If you are going to that, there is three HTTP request method you can see here. So this one is ipinfodb.com ipct, and this is IP country, which is can be passed IPv4 address and IPv6 address. So basically we are going to pass two or three API parameters here. The first one is the API key, and the second one is the IP address, and the format we are going to pass is JSON. Okay, so here it is. It has already created the URL here. So let me copy this URL completely, and this is actually a GET request. So if I'm just pasting that link in my browser, you can see here it's getting my details of my IP address. So this is the IP address which I have passed, which is the default one. So the location details of this IP address is United States, Oklahoma. Okay, so we can pass one more parameter. I'm going to pass the format of the response. So I'm going to give like ampersand format equal JSON. Okay, so it will give me a JSON response instead of this text response. Okay, so if I'm just pressing enter, you can see here it will give me the JSON response of this IP address. So I'm going to try my IP address. So I'm giving my IP, get my IP. So this is my IP address, copy this one. If I'm just pasting this IP address here, it will return me the location of my IP address. So okay, so right now I am in country Qatar, and this is my location details. Okay, now I'm going to show you how you can send this request using JavaScript. Okay, so for that I'm creating a simple HTML page. Just go into new text document. I'm giving it as HTTP request onload. Okay, I'm just giving a name like that. You can give any name. I'm giving it as onload. So basically it will be like on loading the page, it will send the HTTP request and get the response. Okay, so I'm changing the extension as .html. So I have just changed it to .html. Let me open this in my notepad plus plus. So just drag it here. So I have just added some basic HTML tags. So this is nothing. I'll show you how it is. So if I'm opening this one, it will just print a JavaScript get request test. Okay, there is nothing inside there. So I'm going to write a script here inside this head tag, and which will send the request and read the get the JSON response and give us the alert, the response as the alert. Okay, so let me write it and I'll explain how it works. Yes, I have just added the code to send the HTTP request. You can see here I have an HTTP client function where it is actually passing a get request, as you can see here, and this is the URL. I just copied the same URL to this also. You can see here. So this is the IP address. So from here it's passing the get request, and here it is. I am getting that JSON response as a response one, variable response one, and I'm just simply alerting that response here. Okay, now let's try this running. Okay, so let me go to the code again. So if I'm just double clicking this one, it will send the HTTP request. Yes, it's a return an object which is actually a JSON object. So to print the complete JSON, what you have to do is just alert the response itself. We don't need this one. Okay, so I'm going to comment this one. So let's try going to the page, and if I'm just refreshing this one, it will send the HTTP request and they get the response completely as the JSON. As you can see here, it's printing completely. So let me update the code little bit. So instead of giving alert response for the JSON, I'll write a code to pass the JSON response and print that in the HTML body. Okay. Yes, I have written the code to pass the response as a JSON object, and it will take each value or each element one by one, and it's getting printed here in the body. Okay, so as we check, the response is having status code, status message, IP address, and these NaN values. It will pass that from the response and print in the HTML, I mean the body side. Okay, so let's try running this one. So let's go to the page again. If I'm trying to open this one, as you can see here, it will send the request, and you can see here as per the request it's printing all the values, but it's not aligned completely. So let me remove this from our sender tag. We don't need it sender tag, and we don't need the break here. Okay, so if I'm just removing this, it will be good for looking, I guess. Let's try. So if I'm just refreshing this one, you can see here it will send the request, and all the values are printed here. So status code is okay, and the IP address is this one, country code. So to demonstrate completely, let me copy this link from here, and if I'm pasting this one directly in our browser, you can see here these all the values printing here. Okay, latitude, zip code, city name, everything. So what we have done is we have sent that HTTP request and get the response and passed it and showed that value or each element in the HTML page. Okay, so this was actually a onload process. We'll check next how we can dynamically pass with a form an IP address to the HTTP request and get the response. So this is only one IP. I have collected one more IP here. So the IP address is this one. Let me copy this IP address and paste it here, and let's see what is the output coming. It will be different. So if I'm saving this one, so if I'm just refreshing this one, you can see here it's from QA Qatar, and one more IP address is this one. So let me copy it from here, and again if I'm just refreshing this one, you can see it is from country US, city name Oklahoma, every. So in this example we have checked how the request is being sent automatically when the page loads. Okay, so what if we want a dynamic IP address, or dynamically with dynamic parameters we want to send a send request? So I'm going to code for that. I'll be doing like I'll create a form, and from that form we'll pass that IP address to the JavaScript, and the JavaScript will take that and create that HTTP request URL and send the request and get the response dynamically according to the user input. Okay, so let me create a one more page here. So it's not on load, so I'm creating a HTTP request from form. Okay, so I have updated it like this one, and let me open this in my notepad plus, and I'll update the code here and I'll explain how it works. Okay, so I have just updated the code to take the value from a form. So I have created a small form here where I am taking the IP address and have given a button, and the value is test. So on clicking this one, it will call this function and get the IP address value as varx, and it will create the HTTP request URL with this dynamic IP address here. And same way the response JSON response is passed using the JavaScript, and it's the same way I have updated the body part to get all the values and print there. Okay, so here it is. The status code element will be updated by the status response from the JSON response. So let's try running this one. Let's open this one, HTTP request form from form. So it's actually having a form here. So now you can see here it's all empty, the values of the IP address, everything is empty. And let's try passing an IP address. So this is the IP address I'm going to pass. So if I'm just passing this one, you can see here you will send the request. Here is the response, alert response, which we have given here. Okay, this is the alert response. If I'm pressing OK, it will pass it and get all the details of that IP address. So let me remove that alert and save it. If I'm just refreshing this one, and that alert will be gone. Okay, let's try three more IP address. So this is the IP address I have collected. If I'm just testing this one, this belongs to US California, and another IP address is here. If I'm just passing it one, it belongs to Germany, and here is another one. If I'm just testing this one, and this belongs to Vietnam. Okay, so I have shown you how you can send a get request using JavaScript. Now we can check how we can send a post request using the same method. Now to find a test server, I'm just searching for like HTTP post test server. So there is a website I have found. The website name is HTTP bean client testing service. So this is an open source free website where we can send a different type of HTTP request. So I have found a post request here. Okay, so if you are trying the post request as an HTTP request, it will not load because an HTTP URL request is actually a GET request. So if I'm just passing that a GET request, this is GET request. So the path for the post request is the same. So all you have to do is just update this one as post, and if I'm just entering this one, you can see here the method is not allowed because the if we are sending a request in HTTP a URL form, it is actually a GET request. So we have to implicitly put it as a post request and get the response. Okay, so same way like we did here, I'm going to create a new HTML file. So I am giving it as HTTP HTTP post onload. Okay, so this is actually at least HTTP post request. So I'm giving the extension as HTML, and so let me open this one in my notepad plus, and I'll write the code inside there. So before going to test using our JavaScript code, let's try directly testing, directly sending post request. So I have a add-on in my Chrome. The name is Postman add-on. So this is an add-on from Chrome where we can send a different type of HTTP request. So I'm opening it one, and I'll show you how it can be done. So if it is opening this one, first one we have to do is get the link here, and I have opened the Postman. So I'm going to create a new request here. So this is actually a get request. Let's try sending a get request. So if I'm simply sending the get request, what is the output coming? The output is method not allow. So if I'm changing this as post, and if I'm sending this one, it should return me a value here. Okay, so it's if we are sending as post, it will return a value. Now let's try running sending a post request with a form value. So we have a form data here, so I'm giving the name as Genu, and the value I'm giving it as testing. Okay, so if I'm just sending the post request as parameters, you can see here the form value is got here. Okay, so we are going to try the same one using JavaScript with onload, and we'll give a form to get it dynamically also. Okay, so let me write the code inside the HTTP post onload. I'll explain how it works. Okay, I have added the code to send the post request. Here it is. It's as simple as very simple. So this is a URL, and you can see here we are sending a post request here. So here we were sending get request. Now I have explicitly given as post request. Now let's try running this one, and let's see the output. So it will alert the response here completely. Okay, now this is the one http post on load. So if I'm just double clicking this one, it will send the post request, and this is the same response which we got from here. Okay, so this means that our http post request is successful. Now as I shown previously, I'll show you how you can pass this one and show this one in the HTML page. So I have just updated the code. So this was the response which we gave. I mean, it was a big JSON response. So it is actually a nested one. So I'm taking the preliminary values only in the first branch. If I'm not going to inside, it's another task. So let me refresh this one and see here it is. So I have just passed that http request, and I'm just getting this URL and origin here in the HTML page. Okay, so I'll show you how we can pass this one. I mean, we can pass a dynamic form value in this post request, and the same way the form value is here. I'll show how we can get that in the HTML page. Okay, so for testing that, I'm going to create a new page here. So the page name I'm giving it as http post from form. Okay, so let me open this one in uh, notepad plus plus, and I'll same way which we have created a form here, I'm going to create a form, same form here, and where we'll pass our dynamic value and send that post request. So I have just updated the code with the form here. So as in the previous value, it is having a text box of IP address. So this IP address is being taken from the JavaScript, and you can see here I'm passing that as an argument here. Okay, so let's try this one in the HTML page, and the response is just given an alert. So it will be giving an alert value for that. So this is the page. Okay, so I'm giving a value as Genu Jawad, and if I'm just clicking test one, you can see here the value has been passed, and the value is coming here as data. Okay, so I'll update the code again to show these values in our HTML page. I have updated the code. As you can see here, there is an alert here. There was an alert, I just removed it, and I'm just passing that JSON object and getting all the values in the HTML page. Okay, so if I'm just sending a sample request here, so I'm giving it as 1 2 3 4. If I'm just sending this one, you can see here the data, origin, and the URL, which is from the JSON response, has been successfully read as bypassing the JSON response by the JavaScript. Okay, so hope you got this. I have shown 4 different type of requests in this example. So these are all the files. The first one was HTTP request on load. So it was a get request, and I shown you HTTP get request from a form, and HTTP post on load, and I have shown HTTP post from a form. Okay, so hope you got this. If you have any doubt in this, please comment below. I'll be helping you. I'll share all source code in my description, you can have it. And if you have any doubt in this, as I told, please comment below, and please like and subscribe for my videos, and thanks for watching.